Well, good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning at Mountain Vista. It is such a beautiful thing to see you all here this morning. Happy December 21st. Tonight is the last night of Hanukkah. It's the last Sunday in Advent. Christmas starts on Thursday. And here we all are. Most interesting to me is this morning, let me talk. Most interesting to me is this morning at 8 o'clock, the world turned and began its trip back, and the light will return. So everybody take a deep breath. We made it through another one. And here we all are. And man, what a year it's been. And yes, Zombor has a whole lot more wonderful, beautiful things to say about that in just a moment too. But I mostly want to mark right now, like I said, tonight at sundown begins the last night of Hanukkah. A Hanukkah that started so rough this year. And may we all hope for a better end and a much better year ahead for everyone. As always, take a second, silence these things. Make sure they're all set to, silent. And once again, it is so wonderful to see you all here this morning. Welcome.
Good morning and welcome Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Zombor Zoltan and I'm the pastoral associate today participating with Reverend Matthew Funk Crary. I'd like to take a minute to contemplate on the name of our denomination. I'm a lover of synonyms and I like to reflect on words. Unitarian, unity, uniting, unifying, connecting, combining, amalgamating, fusing, integrating, together. Universalist, cosmic, widespread, general, comprehensive, persuasive, diverse, cosmopolitan, all-embracing, all-inclusive, together. Congregation, congregate, gather, assemble, collect, amass, meet, convene, together. We are so fortunate that two distinct religious denominations with many mutual commonalities united, joined, and merged 64 years ago to the continuing benefit of our togetherness and left us with such a compelling denominational name. Today is a special day. At 8:03 this morning, here in Tucson, was the moment when, from our locational perspective here in the Northern Hemisphere, due to the rigidly fixed tilt of the Earth's axis of 23.5 degrees, that we, riding on our 24-hour spinning orb, after spiraling along for 365 days, found ourselves again tilted farthest away from our life-giving sun. This is known, of course, as the winter solstice. For the last 3 months, daylight has been getting shorter, nights growing ever longer. This has had a frigid influence on the northern side of the biosphere. That very thin spherical shell, the diaphanous top layer of our planetary globe. But as of today, nighttime darkness will get shorter, and daylight will now gradually get longer. I see this as an analogy. There has been such overwhelming darkness, political repression, economic regression, fear, spreading violence. But starting today and into the approaching future, light will be increasing, brightness will be more abundant, warmth re-emerging, new growth, new beginnings. Despair subsides, hope returns. What are other words for more intense and longer-lasting light? Enlightenment, illumination. To me, these words convey optimism, hopefulness, cheerfulness, which brings us joy. And add to that, of course, it's the traditional cultural season full of lights, to celebrate the birth of Jesus, which brings joy to many people both within and beyond our doors. That is the theme for our service today. The birth of joy, the future is joy. As part of our Sunday welcoming, we shed light on the Tohono O'odham people, who are descendants of the Hohokam culture, and the later arrivals of the Pasquayakis. Together, these residents on the land upon which we live existed in reciprocal balance with the natural desert, never taking too much and returning what they could. In our welcoming, we acknowledge those of us who contribute and facilitate to our service. Reverend Matthew, Chris Tackett, our music and choir director, Joel Yelland, our song leader and divine after-service refreshment providers, and Stacey Stosa, our children's educational director, with Ann Tatum there today volunteering, and our audiovisual team, Yana, Ann Mosier, David Ovid, and on the camera we have Lee Hickey. We are all welcome here physically present, and welcome to those of us participating through Zoom, the Zoom techno magic, and viewers, and our future viewers when this Sunday service will be available on the electric cloud thanks to Harvey Balapole. Welcome, everyone. We will now light our chalice. The flaming chalice is the primary symbol of our Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. In this season of light and joy, let our chalice flame emanate warmth and kindness to all, and let the luminescence of its flame radiate light, laughter, and learning.
How does that sound? Happy holidays? While we find within these holidays, Hanukkah, Yule, or Christmas, the joyful moments, those joyful moments also come with everyday acts of generosity and kindness and care. Regardless of how it comes to you, I find I am always grateful when they come to me. Here at Mountain Vista, we have so much to be grateful for, such as the results of our 4F, Fun, Friendship, and Frolic fundraiser that we held here last week. And we have someone, well, there you are. I couldn't find you. Oh, that's it.
So I'm Melanie.
Step a little closer.
And I am a very peripheral member of the fundraising team that put on the fundraiser last week. We sold out on many items. We still have a few lines left on a few items, and we'll have those available after the service today if you want to check to see what there is. I also want to let you know that the billing, the statements won't go out until after the first of the year, so don't expect them yet. And I want particularly to thank Renata Kloppinger and Jane Paul for all of their countless hours of work that they put in to make this work. And I also want to thank all of you. I have never worked with such a generous community of people as you. Generous with your time and your talents, your treasures, your creativity. It is just so much fun to work and play with all of you. Thank you very much.
Wait.
Oh, the total of what we made. All right. $15,140. I knew there was something else.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all. It is a remarkable total. It certainly beats what we've done in the past, and it just shows what a generous congregation we are with our time and talent offering those things up, and then, of course, in response with our treasure. I'm also very grateful to those who have taken the time to deck our halls for the holiday. With information from Debbie, Corrine guided Elliot and Melva and Connie and Magnus and Robin last week to decorating our sanctuary, our covenant hall for all of our holiday enjoyment. Thank you. Yes, we acknowledged the trees back a couple of weeks when he put them up, and we'll thank everybody when we take everything down again, but thank you. We also offer our thanks for our woven basket partner this month, Dancing in the Streets, Arizona.
To 103, including children with incarcerated parents and with.
We use the power of dance to transform lives.
We serve all students from 3 to 103, including children with incarcerated parents and with serious physical or developmental difficulties.
Ballet is a beautiful form of art, but it's also a discipline. Our students learn life skills and break down cultural barriers.
Our students discover they can do more than they ever thought possible, not just during rehearsals, recitals, and shows, but in school, in their families, and in our community.
Joey Rogers is the co-director of Dancing in the Streets, Arizona, and he often tells the story of how the idea for this nonprofit dance studio came to him. He was at a funeral for a friend in South Tucson. He saw many of the children there attending from the community, and he witnessed that they had absolutely nothing to do. He'd been trained and performed here in Tucson as a professional dancer, and he wanted to share his time and talent, but there was no place to dance. And so he took them outside, out front, and into the street. And that's how Dancing in the Streets, Arizona began. Today, it brings joy and delight of dance to the lives of all of their students, many generations of students. My sons have been a part of that, as well as participants, young people from this congregation. And it also goes out into our broader community to share that joy and delight throughout the year. We offer our thanks to them for all that they do by taking a collection for them in the woven basket just outside these doors. Now, next to that woven basket is our wooden bowl. This is for our offering of thanks for the work and the ministries of our Unitarian Universalist congregation. We are a generous people, but we are also a grateful people. Please know that all that you give, whatever you can, is always gratefully received.
I did forget one small holiday today. He's not here right now. He's home, and I'll tell you why in a second. Today is my partner Alex's birthday. So when you see him next, wish him a happy, happy birthday. Let's start singing this morning with number 226, People Look East, 226. If you want a hymnal, they're on the racks right there by the sound booth. Otherwise, of course, the words will be on the screen. People Look East, 226 in the gray hymnal.
People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able, trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today, love the guest is on the way. Furrows be glad, though earth is bare, one more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today, love the roses on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim, one more light the bowl shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as the sun and moon together. People look east and sing today, love the star is on the way. way.
Ecce puella cum sella, quae adjuvantes stat parientes mulieres consuetuedina ad hibebatur venit. Stetit, ubiam viderunt, obstupuerunt, et Iosef dixit ad eam, puer, quo vadis cum illa sella? I will continue now, restart in English. Behold, a girl came with a chair, which was customarily used to help women giving birth. She stopped. When they saw her, they were amazed, and Joseph said to her, "Child, where are you going with that chair?" The girl responded, "My mistress sent me to this place because a youth came to her with great haste and said, 'Come quickly to help with an unusual birth, a girl giving birth for the first time.' When she heard this, my mistress sent me on before her. Look, she herself is following." Joseph looked back and saw her coming. He went to meet her, and they greeted each other. The midwife said to Joseph, "Sir, where are you going?" He replied, "I seek a Hebrew midwife." The woman said to him, "Are you from Israel?" Joseph said, "I am from Israel." The woman said to him, "Who is the young woman who will give birth in this cave?" Joseph replied, "Mary, who was promised to me, who was raised in the Lord's temple." The midwife said to him, "Is she not your wife?" And Joseph said, "She was promised to me, but was made pregnant by the Holy Spirit." The midwife said to him, "What you say is true?" Joseph said to her, "Come and see." They entered the cave. Joseph said to the midwife, "Come see Mary." When she wished to enter the interior of the cave, she was afraid, because a great light shone resplendent in the cave. The light did not wane in the day, nor through the night, as long as Mary stayed there.
I invite you now to a time of contemplation, of considering and pondering. What story is this? Certainly there are elements in what you've just heard that echo the Christmas story, the birth of Jesus. There's Joseph, the expectant father. Mary, about to have an unusual birth, and an expectation of something wonderful coming into the world. But a midwife? A cave? And what's with the birthing chair? This is the beginning of a Latin infancy gospel, a quite different telling of the Christmas birth. Scholar Ryan Giles tells us that it was composed in Latin during the 6th century and widely read during the Middle Ages. So thank you, Zombor, for offering us a few of the sentences in Latin. During the Middle Ages, there were many stories written about Mary and Joseph and, of course, Jesus. There are over 100 manuscripts from that period, which suggests that people were curious to learn more about this family and the life of Jesus well beyond what was told in the Scriptures. And so many new legends, which were not at all part of the tradition, were added at this time. Some have continued until today. Many of you may recognize Joseph as an older, gray-bearded man. That was introduced during this period. Many of you may expect to see cows and other livestock in the stable. That was added during this period. And many of you who are really into the lore and trivia of Christmas may know that the three wise magi have names: Melchior, Balthasar, Casper. They came from this time period. And yet some other symbols, like the midwife, Zachael, and the birth taking place in a cave, and the birthing chair, well, these were additional details that simply, they just didn't catch on. And yet returning and listening and learning today, the meaning of the birth story can be expanded. Perhaps even tell us more about ourselves. Adding background details to this birth story wasn't unusual back then, and it isn't unusual today. Many of you might recall that in the early 2000s, Anne Rice, who is known for her erotic horror novels, wrote 2 books about Jesus. The first, Christ the Lord out of Egypt, was based on stories that arose during the Middle Ages, and they were all about Jesus' childhood. Because nearly 2,000 years after he lived, we are telling and retelling stories about this man. There is just something about him, his life, his ministry, and yes, even his death, that invites our imagination to create stories and traditions about him so that we might reflect back on who we are as individuals, as communities, and as a whole human species. And one such tradition already active in the Middle Ages, which we've mentioned a few times today, is Advent. If you're not familiar with this Christian ritual, it's the counting down of days to the birth of Jesus. Today, in addition to being the solstice in Yule, the final day of Hanukkah, it is the 4th Sunday of Advent. In addition to the stories and prayers and celebrations, Advent includes 4 candles successively lit on the Sundays preceding Christmas Day, and then a 5th lit on Christmas Day. And today, let me just tell you, there are as many possible meanings to each of these candles as there are facets to Christianity. And yet, Advent originated in the northern hemisphere. It's held during the winter solstice, the crowning of the year. And these 4 candles have commonly come to symbolize the return of light, the light that allows us to perceive that hate and fear and violence and despair, they can be overcome. And perhaps this, then, is what the Christmas story means. As Unitarian Universalist congregation, a people who congregate, gather, assemble, collect, amass, meet, convene for unity, uniting, unifying, connecting, combining, amalgamating, fusing, integrating, cosmic, widespread, general, comprehensive, pervasive, diverse, cosmopolitan, all-embracing togetherness, we still want to know what you believe. We still want to know what each and every one of you believes. So is the Christmas story a story of the birth of love? Is it the return of hope to the world? Is it a long labor that brings peace? Or perhaps is it the arrival of a bundle of joy for the world? As Zombor will continue to read us the Latin infancy gospel in English, it shifts to the voice of Zachael, the midwife. But what does it mean to you that she's present and participating? Why is the story in a cave and not in a stable? And what is with that birthing chair? Certainly, we could seek out the symbolism of medieval Europeans alive hundreds of years ago, and we could tease out what the story means to them. But instead, as we have done for generations, I invite you to use your imagination, your wonder, and your meanings to answer all of those questions and more that might arise for yourself. What does it mean to you today. And perhaps somewhere in this different telling, at this time of year when the light is returning with ancient and new celebrations abounding, perhaps, maybe, you'll begin to answer what it is that you believe needs to be born in our world today.
We have a special treat. We have this beautiful, beautiful Christmas carol, What Child Is This?, in a new arrangement by our own David Forrester. He's playing an instrument called an EWI, an electronic wind instrument, literally EWI or EWI, which is why it's called that. And he's written this beautiful setting of the traditional tune Greensleeves, like I said, usually known this time of year as What Child Is This? It's interesting, the tune is first published in 1580. The rumor is that it was written by King Henry VIII, but that's probably almost definitely not true. Mostly because it's in a lovely style that didn't exist until well after the time of Henry VIII. But David's beautiful arrangement of Greensleeves, or What Child Is This? Everything plugged in and working?
When I entered to the maiden, I found her face looking upward. She was inclined towards heaven and speaking to herself. I truly believe that she prayed to the Blessed, the Most High. When I had come to her, I said to her, "Daughter, tell me, do you not feel some pain? Or is not some part of your body gripped with pain?" She, however, as if she heard nothing, remained immobile like solid rock, intent on heaven. In that hour, everything ceased. There was a total silence and fear, for even the winds stopped. They made no breeze. There was no motion of tree leaves. No sound of water was heard. The streams did not flow. There was no motion of the sea. All things produced in the water were quiet. There was no human voice sounding. There was a great silence. For the pole itself ceased its rapid course from that hour. Time almost stopped its measure. All, overwhelmed with great fear, kept silent. They were expecting the advent of the Most High God, the end of the world. As the time drew near, the power of God showed itself openly. The maiden stood looking intently into heaven. She became snow white. For now, the end of good thing was at hand. When the light had come forth, Mary worshipped him to whom she saw she had given birth. The child himself, like the sun, shone bright, beautiful, and was most delightful to see, because he alone appeared as peace, soothing the whole world. In that hour, when he was born, the voice of many invisible beings in one voice proclaimed, "Amen." And that light, when it was born, multiplied, and it obscured the light of the sun itself by its shining rays. The cave was filled by the bright light, together with the most sweet odor. The light was born just as the dew descends from heaven on the earth, for its odor is fragrant beyond all the sweet smell of ointments.
We can stop the world. We can and we do, if only for a moment together. Not so we can get off, as the once popular musical proposed, but to stop the busyness of the world so that we might rest. Rest here in this congregation, among people of celebration and comfort. Breathe. Breathe out to offer peace and in to receive it, a peace that can only be found in community.
We can stop the world, and we do. Whenever we gather as Unitarian Universalists, together we press pause, not so that we can retreat, but so that we can go deeper into our joys and our sorrows. Deeper into the peace of community, the celebration of all our joys, and the comfort of all our sorrows.
We pour out the water, gathered from the skies and the earth and the taps of our home. This is our congregation. We take up stones, formed over countless seasons, worn and weathered and strong. These are our joys and sorrows. We drop them into our community to be embraced and held. When asked, we share those joys and sorrows aloud. I have a joy today, and it's for the music that we've had. The wonderful prelude, Chris, that brought me back to my roots, and the marvelous interlude that you and David played for us. That's my joy. And we add many stones for the joys and sorrows that are unnamed, and yet in the presence of our heart.
Our ceremony is made true because we follow it with action. Our pastoral care committee gives our surface, our individual and collective time and talent to be present and to listen to your joys and your sorrows, and to lead our congregation in celebration and in comfort. We know very well, because you've shared with us, that the season of celebrating light can also come with the holiday blues. So just as we do with our joys and our celebrations, we together go in comfort into the blues. Everyone is invited to take one of the blue MVUU bulbs from off of our trees for yours to keep. Hang it where you can see it, knowing that when you need us, MVUU is with you through whatever our season brings.
We stop the world, pausing to embrace our joys and hold our sorrows, and in our bright celebration of the holidays and our quiet comfort for the blues.
And this is our gift to you as a congregation. May it be yours now and in all the days to come.
I, however, stood stupefied and amazed. Awe grasped me. I was gazing intently at the fantastically bright light which had been born. The light, however, after a while shrank, imitated the shape of an infant, then immediately became outwardly an infant, in the usual manner of born infants. I became bold and leaned over and touched him. I lifted him in my hands with great awe, and I was terrified because he had no weight, like other babies who are born. I looked at him closely. There was no blemish on him, but he was in his body totally shining, just as the dew of the Most High God. He was light to carry, splendid to see. For a while I was amazed at him because he did not cry as newborn children are supposed to. While I held him, looking into his face, he laughed at me with a most joyful laugh, and opening his eyes, he looked intently at me. Suddenly, a great light came forth from his eyes like a great flash of lightning.
It's at this moment, supposedly, that great joy is born. 2:45, joy to the world, as well as on the screens. Please, rise as you see fit and join in singing.
Joy to the world, the word is come. Let earth with praises ring. Let every heart prepare a room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature
Thank you all. I saw some of you just belting that out. And it makes me think that you all might be ready for something new to be born into our world. So if you sang for love to be born, new compassion and care into the world, then may it be so. And if you sang for hope to return, for inspiration, for brighter tomorrows, to move our actions today, blessed be. And if you sang for peace, the end to conflict, to the intended and intentional harm that we inflict upon one another, thank you. Amen. And if you sang for a bundle of joy to the world, in our world and from our world that needs to be born, good. The stories and songs of Christmas tell us that not only is this possible, but in fact, we're the only ones who can make it happen. We can, and we do, birth joy. A joy that stops the world, pauses the tides and the flow of rivers, halts the very flow of time. A joy that brings an irrepressible light that forms itself into a body of delight. A joy to the world, to all the boys and girls, to the fishes in the deep blue sea. A joy to you and to me. Because it's a joy that brings laughter. A joy that brings a flash of enlightenment and illumination. We can and we do midwife in this joy. We can and we do labor for this joy, bringing it to life with our lives. However, if you are at all skeptical, like me, then I bet your skepticism and maybe even your cynicism is kicking in right now. You're wondering if we can birth the joy, and if we've had centuries of stories and of songs stoking our imaginations, telling us that it is possible, then why? Why is there so much hate and fear and violence and despair right now? It would seem as if human beings have proven that all we are capable of bringing to life, if anything, is grim and aimless and cruel and destructive. As skeptical as I am, however, I find no peace there. I find no hope and I find no love, even though I know that these are all well within our human capacity. Because you see, I know too about birth. Oh, not firsthand in the way that many of you do. Instead, I just know that birth is not easy. I've only been a witness, an unskilled attendant at several births. What I've learned is that birth is liminal. It doesn't last. Birth is impermanent. It is a transition. It is a means to transformation. Where there is new life, once waiting, hidden, through the labor, through hard work, it comes into being, and that changes, well, it changes everything. I know through witnessing and attending births that labor is also dangerous. It briefly brings life and death into a close tension, which is both awesome as it is terrifying. And the birth of joy, it's exactly like all of the other births that have ever happened. It is transformational, hard work, dangerous work. It cannot happen just once. It must happen over and over and over again so that it is kept alive. And if that's not challenging enough, the birth of joy, joy itself is the labor of the soul. The soul. Your inner skeptic has been sleeping. I'm now poking that bear. The soul, an unseen, unmeasurable, unknown that preachers bring out when we like to talk about the deepest parts of our humanity. The soul that some view as transcendent, others view as fully immanent, and some of you here as non-existent. But I've come to believe it is emergent, that it's more than the sum of our parts, that each and every one of us is one physical body, one thinking mind, one feeling heart, and one willful spirit. And when we add them up, the soul emerges as more than its total. And Parker Palmer, a Quaker, a teacher, and a wise elder, in his book, A Hidden Wholeness, which is all about this soul, offers us this. The soul is like a wild animal. It's tough and resilient and savvy, self-sufficient, and yet exceedingly shy. If we are willing to walk quietly into the woods and sit silently for an hour or two at the base of a tree, the creature we are waiting for may well emerge, and just out of the corner of our eye, we will catch a glimpse of the precious wildness that we seek. We don't experience our emergent, fierce, and feral souls in the usual places that, well, we tend to gather. No one has ever found their soul while driving on the highway, or shopping in malls, or even sitting, drinking lattes at a cafe. We find it out there, in the unexplored spaces of nature, being still in the woods, catching our breath on the tops of mountains, diving into the depths of the deep blue sea, or deep within caves of quiet darkness. And that's where Zachael, our midwife, finds when she leaves behind the highways and byways of human commerce and enters not the lowly stable that we are taught to expect, but a cave, where she finds that the human soul has been unveiled. And although she is in labor, that liminal space bringing together life and death, Mary, she's pretty chill about the whole thing. I mean, as she is giving birth and glowing pure white, she is at peace. And despite the entire world around her halting, and what we hear is the end of not just everything, but also good things, she's calm. Scholars have looked back at this story and said it was foundational for establishing the worship of the Virgin Mary as a goddess during the Middle Ages. Yes, human beings have worshipped the creative power of the female since our earliest history. And this depiction of Mary reopened this. But this is the story of the human soul giving birth to joy, which means it is the soul undergoing the ordeal of labor. There is a purity to it. There is wildness, and there is freedom, and there is fierceness, which allows it to undergo the ordeal calmly and at peace. See, when we are present to our soul, when we go to those unknown spaces and we catch it just out of the corner of our eye, it invites the marginal, the excluded, and the unwelcome pieces of ourselves into our own attention, says psychotherapist Francis Weller. Soul is often found at the edges, he continues, both in culture and in our lives. Soul takes us down into the places of our shared humanity, such as sorrow and longing, suffering and death. Soul requires we would be authentic, revealing what lies behind the image we try to show the world, including our own flaws and peculiarities. Soul doesn't care about perfection or getting it right. It cares about participation. It cares that you participate. And that may be paradoxical. That if the soul is both wild and shy, it's avoidant of the world we have constructed around us, and yet it invites us, it requires us to get involved. Involved in the hardest, most vulnerable parts of our humanity. The sorrow and the suffering, the pain and the death. Everything that comes naturally with our being human, as well as the inhumanity that we inflict upon one another. Soul wants us to engage in the terrible and the awful and the unwelcome and the even dangerous parts of our being human, because that's the labor, that's the hard work, that's the push that births joy. If facing what we are instead of avoiding it, soul then begins to demand more from us than our perfection. It wants us each and all to be completely and entirely whole and wholly human, and to labor to birth something profoundly new in this world. And you don't have to do it alone. My goodness, never do it alone. From the moment we are born, says Weller, we expect to be part of a tribe, to step out of our enclosure in the morning and see many pairs of eyes looking back at us, looking back at each other. And when we do, because this is what we're evolved to do, we find those people are there to meet us and affirm us. For thousands of years, we've been nourished by being members of a community, gathering around a fire, hearing the stories of elders, feeling supported during times of loss and grief, offering gratitude, singing together, sharing meals at night and our dreams in the morning. This is what we are. We've not evolved to be individuals, separate and suffering alone. Yet somehow that's crept in. Somehow that actually directs most of what we spend our energy focused on. Being separate and being alone, not being attendant to one another, participating in community, and together through the call of our souls, bring birth into the world of something entirely new, like love and hope and peace and joy to the entire world. As we've said, today is a unique convergence of Advent, Hanukkah, and Yule. And we, as Unitarian Universalists, recognize that each has a distinct religious language, beautiful heritage and history, unique in its own meanings, and each in its own way tells us the light will always overcome the night. Like the community of Temple Kolomi did last Sunday night, the first night of Hanukkah. Rabbi Malcolm Cohen, my friend, had invited me to join him and his people as they began the Festival of Lights, remembering the miracle of 8 nights in the face of ancient violence. We stood outside. Some thought that was brave. I think it was just true. Along a busy, noisy street, and we began to sing in English and Spanish and Yiddish and Hebrew. I did not get through most of those songs. And we remembered We remembered all those who've been attacked and all of those killed on the Bondi Beach in Australia only hours before. And their rabbi led us through our tears, saying, "We are here because there is more light in the universe than there is darkness, and those that believe otherwise are mistaken." Those that believe otherwise are mistaken. Yes, for any of you skeptics, it's not a scientific fact. There is more dark matter than protons in the universe. This is the truth of the soul. This is the truth of the soul. It's the reality of Hanukkah and Yule and Christmas. It's what they've been trying to tell us for centuries. It's the truth of all of our analogies and our metaphors and our meanings. It's the belief that's beyond skepticism. It's beyond cynicism, that our world is only what it appears on the surface, that it's fearful and hateful and violent and despairing. It's so much more. It is the faith of this Unitarian Universalist congregation that in our singular cosmic amalgamation of body, mind, heart, and spirit, each and all of us are more than the sum. You are more than the sum of being separate in this world. You're pure. You're wild. You are fierce souls, shy from the conventions of the world, and yet still desiring and demanding that we get involved, to engage and endure the hard labor. Not alone, never alone, always together, not once, but over and over and over and over again to birth light and laughter and learning and to bring joy. Joy to all the boys and girls and gender non-confirming folks. Joy to the fishies in the deep blue sea and the birds of the loftiest sky. Joy to you and to me, and joy to the world. May we catch the glimpse and hear the call of our souls to birth this joy. And may we choose to follow that call. May we choose it individually and as a people. As I have been taught, may it be so. Blessed be Aho and Amen.
So much joy, so much light, and bringing so much joy and light into the world. In the late 18th, early 19th century, Friedrich Schiller wrote a beautiful poem, and Ludwig van Beethoven took it up and wrote his gorgeous Symphony No. 9, which is often given the title The Ode to Joy. And guess who was surprised this week to find out it's in our hymnal? It's 327, Joy Thou Goddess. We're going to go through 3 verses with it. The first verse is going to be sung, since this is a day of multiple languages. Thank you, Zombor. The first verse is going to be sung by our own Joel Yelland in German, auf Deutsch, and then if you all would join us on the English, would you rise and sing with us?
Joy, Freude, Freude. Freude, schöner Götterfunken, Tochter aus Elysion, übertreten Feuertrunken, himmlische Heiligtum, deinen
The future is happening. And here at MVUU, we are doing our part to ensure that it is filled with joy. Here are a few ways that we are doing just that. Announcements.
Winter Chill, tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, right here. What is Winter Chill? Winter Chill is a chance to come and sit in a beautiful, warm, friendly, surrounding environment. Enjoy a lovely, quiet, calm evening. No talking. Bring a book, bring some crafts, bring those last few Christmas cards you have yet to fill out. And tomorrow evening from 6 to 8, right here, with some lovely piano music, as well as it's a fundraiser for our music fund, which we finally got approved last year. It's the fund that will let us do things like buy risers and things like that. So tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, 6 to 8, you're welcome to bring a snack, you're welcome to bring food to share, you're welcome to bring cookies. It's a great way to use up all the wonderful Christmas cookies that you've been gifted and know you can't eat yourself. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, 6 o'clock right here for Winter Chill.
We hope we've whetted your appetite for the Christmas story. And if you want a more traditional telling, not quite the traditional telling, we invite you to join us on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve at 6 p.m., we begin here with a new version of our pageant. We have swapped with the UU Church of Tucson. We've given them all of our things and our whimsical approach, and we've brought in theirs, which we are intent on learning for a couple of years. We invite you to join us and to understand that when you do, you are going to participate in some fashion or another. There will be a role for you as you join us for Christmas Eve. Tom, you want to speak about science on site? In fact, there you go if you need it.
MVUUs are a curious and intellectual lot, right? So in that spirit, Alice Hutchison, bless her soul, has organized some incredible scientific tours that we want to offer you. I won't go into a lot of detail. We'll have a sign up outside at the information center for 4 tours that are coming up to the most incredible cutting edge science you'll see around Tucson, followed by a discussion over lunch of the meaning and impact of that science on our lives today. So if you're curious, we're going to be seeing the Lunar Lab. We're going to be seeing Paragon, which is a firm that designs tools for space. We're going to go to the Bio5 lab at the U of A, where they do incredible medical research. And we're also going to go to a 3D printing operation. So if you're interested in touring those sites and following that with lunch, come see me at the information desk. Thanks.
And finally, staff and I want to wish you all the happiest of holidays as we take off on vacation. We love you, but this is a wonderful tradition of MVUU, and so the office will be closed Christmas Day through New Year's Day. If you do need anything in an emergency, of course, we do respond, but first begin with our board president, Deborah Roberts. She will hear what any concerns you may have and help to determine who it is, if anyone, that will contact while the staff is away. We're grateful for the time that we spend with you, and we're grateful for this gift of vacation. You're going to release them. I know, you're not going to read it. Okay. Either one. David. Is David here?
I believe David is out helping Joel set up coffee and cookies and such.
Otherwise, we'd have him join us.
You can prepare, but still, it will come to you by surprise. Crossing through your doorway, calling your name and greeting, it will astonish you. how wide your heart will open in welcome for the joy that finds you so ready and still so unprepared.
You are already a blessing. You are already a blessing to this world. You bring light and laughter and learning with you wherever you go. But the world needs us to do something a little extra. And this season reminds us of this. As you go out into the world and celebrating all of the holidays and holy days, listen, look for your own soul. Look for your own truth and your own reality that calls you to the hard and true labor of bringing joy into the world. Go in peace, go in love, and go bringing joy.
Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through your love and your tears. Or you can always sing La La La. What is the memory we valued so highly that we keep alive in this frame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out it's not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice must somehow prevail. This is the burden and this is the promise, and this is why we cannot fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, don't let the light